Hello campers, Dr. Dickey here. Okay, I'm in the process. I'm going to make up 14 of these sample packs so that I can put them in the cabinet, make sure they'll fit, figure out how to arrange them, maybe do a little bit on the spacing of these spacers that I've got to make sure everything fits in there fine. To do that, I'm making up the bus bars right now. So I'll show you how I've made up these bus bars. And then I'll assemble 14 of these, and then we'll see how they fit into the cabinet. Okay, so I need to make up 26 of these. I've already made up about 6. But to do that, I've made up all of these, which are the part of the bus bar you'll see in a second. And I made up all these, which is the other part of the bus bar, as I'll show you in just a second. What I've done is made a jig, and I can use that jig to properly space these when I put them together. Since this involves fire, I figured you'd be interested in seeing, because I got and now I've got everything in my way. So that's part of the bus bar, and you can see I put slots down here to where it will hold them at the right spacing. It's hard to see the two I have over on this side because it's so burned up, but they're there, trust me. And then let's see if we can clamp this side down. And then we just make sure the bus bar is up. The two parts are touching. Sometimes I have to adjust the length of these, but I don't think so this time. And then I check it with a piece to make sure that's going to hit there, hit it there, hit there, and that looks pretty good. So we put a little flux on so that we get good flow. Make sure that's down good and tight. Last second adjustments, and then bring the fire. The way I was taught was, put the heat where you want the action. And of course sometimes with this you get a little bit of a drip underneath because I'm putting extra on, and I can just cut that off, no problem. Then, take this out. Okay, after I got the bus bars done and made up the spacers, I then mocked up the 14S configuration, and now I got to see if it's going to fit and how well it's going to fit inside the cabinet that it will eventually go into. You can see that these spacers just keep the distance between them so that these bus bars don't touch, even though these will be hooked together, these will be hooked together. You know, they're going to be in series. So all those will be hooked together, and I'll put connectors on those when we get to that. So this is the site of future solar panels. I'm going to take those 4 and move the 2 closest to us behind the other 2. Those go to the lead acid batteries I have that run the ham radio and a few other things. So I'm going to try to keep those. But in this new space I've prepared, I'm going to put 6 320 watt solar panels that are going to be 24 volt panels, and they will be hooked 2 in series, 3 in parallel, and they will go into the shed, which is where the do-it-yourself power wall is going to be located. So let's go inside and look at that. Okay, here in the shed is the cabinet. That's the channel that's going to be the framework to hold up the solar panels. So right now, this is the area where the battery's going to sit. So I've put a piece of plywood down in here because this shelf, I thought it was supposed to be able to hold 300 pounds. I think it's the cabinet total can hold 300 pounds. Each shelf supposedly holds 150. And this battery pack is going to be around 250 pounds, but I've got it reinforced with this 3/4 inch plywood, and it's plenty strong enough to support the battery pack. So let's put the battery pack in and see how it fits. So the good thing is my calculations were correct, and it does exactly fit in here with just a little bit of a gap on either side. Now, I hope to put maybe a piece of plexiglass on either end, because obviously one end of this is going to be positive, the other end of it's going to be negative. The cabinet is metal, and so the last thing I want to do is be able to have the negative end touch the cabinet and the positive end touch the cabinet. That would be bad news, because it would lead to a dead short. Best case scenario, all the fuses blow, and that's a lot of fuses. So far I've cataloged about 1,700 of the cells. If I made 15 packs, which is the way most people do it, if you're going to have a 14S, you make 15 packs. That gives you one spare pack that you can swap out in case you want to fix something in one of the packs or do some maintenance or something like that. The problem with me doing that is that I've only got enough cells to really do about 15 packs. That would be 2,400 cells. I think I've got around 2,800, and the 400 extra are for ones that are very low capacity or bad cells. They were dented or were too far discharged and all that. I've got maybe 150 cells like that, 200 cells like that. So I've got enough to do 15 packs, and I'll talk about way you do that maybe next week. But if I do that, if you notice, mine are handed. As you can see, one of the packs has the negative end on the front going up. The other pack has the positive end on the left going up, and then the negative end is on the back going up. So I can only, if I make up a pack, I can only make up one, and then that would have to be the one that replaces. It would have to be handed the correct way. And I don't think I have enough to make up 2 extra packs, because I don't want to get into some of the cells had a capacity that were less than 2.6 amp hours, and I'd rather not use any of those cells. And again, I'll explain about how you decide where the cells go, and then hopefully in a week or so I'll also do a video. I'll show you about how I'm going to weld in the fuses and weld in the wires to make up these packs, because I'm almost done cataloging all my cells, and so I'm going to be ready to start making up the packs. And here, then, of course, up in here would go where the solar charge controller would go, the inverter and all that, and I'm going to rig up a vent system that goes through the top and to the outside. Where I live out here at the beach, it gets to be, the highest we usually ever get is about 95 degrees. That's because the ocean temperature regulates the temperature here. And even though it may get to be 100 degrees inland or something like that, we don't get that hot out here. Sea breeze comes in the afternoon. So I'm going to vent this to the outside, getting air from the outside and venting it back out to the outside through the cabinet, if it ever gets above 95, because obviously in here there's going to be an inverter, there's going to be the solar charge controller and other things that generate heat. If it's charging the cells may generate a little bit of heat themselves. So the cabinet may get above 95 degrees. You're okay pretty much up to about 105 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't want it to get ever above 100, so I'll set it to where the temperature, if it gets above, say, 90, the fan will come on and it will start circulating air through here with the outside. And of course that would only be during the highest and hottest part of the day, around 3 o'clock. Fortunately, this shed is in the shade during that time of the day, so I'm hoping that inside the shed it won't get too much greater than 95 degrees. But I want to put in a vent system just for that, so I don't have any problems. That's where we are right now. I got to finish cataloging the cells, then I'm going to be ready to start building the packs, and I'll show you about the welding and all that in the next video. Thanks for watching.